In this video, I'm trying to describe the notion of a disclosure. So, accountants are used to the term disclosure. So I'm talking about those same things, those disclosures, but I'm talking about them in a very specific way. So I'm going to use my proof report to show what I'm trying to show. And it would be best if you watched the video about blocks, because I'm going to use the term block in this. I'm not going to really go into describing it. So essentially, right now you see the component view, which is a network plus a hypercube. So there's the network, there's the hypercube. And you see that if you open this component up, you see the blocks. There's the assets roll up, there's the liability and equity roll up. If you go to the block view, you basically hide the hypercubes and the networks, and you get just a list of blocks. So each of these blocks is basically a disclosure. A block is an informational type artifact, and a disclosure is an accounting type artifact. So what I did is I gave every disclosure a name, and I described each disclosure with the disclosure mechanics rules, which I'm going to explain in another video. So here you're looking at this block, and this block has the disclosure assets roll up associated with this block of information. So all the disclosures are summarized in this view of the report, which provides a list of all of the disclosures. If you click here, you see the rules that are used to describe the essence of that disclosure. And these rules are used by the software to find that disclosure. This is a line of reasoning that was used by the software to determine if a specific block of information represents the specific disclosure based on the rules. So essentially, this disclosure view is another way of looking at a report. This is each disclosure of a report. This is mapped to a block of information. And this informational block, it could be represented using a text block, or it could be represented using detailed information. I'm not going to go into that here. I'm not doing both. In SEC filings, you can have text blocks and level 4 detailed disclosures. I'm not going to go into that. So if I click on, so here's the assets roll up. If I click on this assets roll up, the application takes me to that block of information in the view that I'm in. So I'm going to go back to this view, go back to that, click on it again, and again it takes me to that block of information, this time in the components view. So what's going on here is something that will become more interesting when we talk about the reporting checklist. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. But this, the power that you gain from giving each disclosure a specific name is it's very powerful. So basically, you couldn't do a lot of the things that we can do with Tesseract and Pacioli and Luca, which is some software I'm helping to get developed, if you do not have the notion of a disclosure. There's no notion of a disclosure in XBRL. So we basically expanded the functionality that can be provided using XBRL, made greater by coming up with the notion of a disclosure, coming up with the notion of a block, and being able to connect the XBRL syntax to the block to the disclosure, which is then used in the reporting checklist. So here are the disclosures that are in this proof. The reason that these are shown is for testing purposes, and each of the information models that you can ever find are represented in this set of disclosures. So, here's a roll up, here's a roll forward, there's an adjustment, there's a text block, information, roll forward information, and just a set. So again, this may not make sense right now, but when you put all these pieces together, magic starts to happen, and software can do things that it could not do before it knew of the name of a disclosure that you might want to work with or find in a report or compare between two reports. So this is my first draft of this. I'm going to call that good for now. I'm already going on 7 minutes, but I'm going to call that good for right now.